I've opened up my heart. I'm at the start. I save the world.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Special acknowledgement now for those of you who are watching this as a recorded video. We post all of my talks on 3 different video platforms. You can take your pick of which one you like the most. So YouTube or BitChute or Rumble. And for some reason, BitChute is the platform that we have the most views on, which is interesting. So please subscribe to whatever platform you are watching this on, and hit the like button, please. The more people who like these videos, the more that platform shares them with other people on the platform, and then the more they get seen. So, of course, we want this message of total healing to go out to the world, to as many people as are open to it. So it really helps to like the videos. And also leave a comment after you watch the video, just to share, and love to read those shares, and I love to comment on them as well. So, miracle healers, teachers of God, have a very important characteristic, and that important characteristic is patience. And I was thinking about patience this week. Actually, I had a couple of things that were trying my patience, but I also had some things happening that showed me that I indeed did have patience. So patience is a big thing for me as a child, teenager, early adult, my 20s. I was on and off chided, which really means scolded, for being impatient. And what I see now is that impatience actually came from anxiety. I had anxiety. I've had anxiety problems in my life. So I had anxiety even as a teenager and, of course, as a young adult. And anxiety is basically fear about some future experience that you might have, or you might think you will have. And the anxiety about that was just very, very uncomfortable. And so it caused me to push things so that we could get through that, so we could get to some resolution or conclusion. And that's, I guess, what I did a lot in my young life. And that's why people called me impatient. I was impatient. I didn't wait for things to work themselves out. I pushed them. And it was all from the anxiety that came from the fear of some future experience, the fear of some uncertainty. So patience is what the Manual for Teachers identifies as one of the 10 characteristics of what it calls the advanced teachers of God. And that was in the reading that Reverend Wendy read. It said, all differences amongst the Son of God are temporary. Nevertheless, in time, it can be said that the advanced teachers of God have the following characteristics. So I don't have time to go through the whole 10. It would be too confusing. But they're really wonderful characteristics. You might, pick up the Manual for Teachers and read that section. It's early on in the manual where it lists the 10 characteristics of an advanced teacher of God. And patience is the 8th of the 10 characteristics. And I have developed patience. I have definitely done that in my life. I don't think people would call me impatient anymore, but I just certainly see my own internal experience of myself is that I'm a much more patient person than I was. Does that mean I'm an advanced teacher of God? I'll let you decide that. But it does mean for me that at least I am traveling in the right direction. The fact that I am traveling in the right direction is indicated to me by the patience that I have developed. So also in that reading that Reverend Wendy read about patience specifically, it says, those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait and wait without anxiety. See, there's that anxiety thing. Patience is natural to the teacher of God. All he sees is certain outcome at a time perhaps unknown as yet, but not in doubt. The time will be as right as is the answer. So I noticed that it says the outcome is certain. But there's also a little qualifier there. It's not talking about a lofty, heavenly reality outcome. It says the outcome will manifest in time. So, in the time and space illusion of external reality, the healed outcome will manifest. That little nuance is lost by a lot of people who embrace that teaching. They think it's talking about something loftier, but it's actually still pretty grounded in physical reality. So it will manifest in time, whatever it is. We just don't know when. But what we are to affirm that the when, the time, will be the perfect time for all concerned. The time will be as right as is the answer. So if some healing has not manifested for you yet, just know that it's just not the right time for it and for everybody concerned to manifest. It will manifest in time, and the time will be as right as is the answer. And if we can rest in that certainty and that certain outcome, then we will indeed have patience. Earlier in the text, actually very early in the text, in chapter 1, Jesus refers to something he calls the time control factor. And I think that's what this is referring to. And that is, I said in chapter 1, it says, the miracle worker therefore accepts the time control factor gladly. So there's a time control factor that goes on with our miracle working, our healing ability. And we have to accept that gladly. And I think it's the glad, happy acceptance of that time control factor that allows us truly to be patient with however long it all takes to work itself out. Also, in that little teaching about patience that Reverend Wendy read from the teacher's manual, it says, patience is natural to those who trust, sure of the ultimate interpretation of all things in time. No outcome already seen or yet to come can cause them fear. So once again, it's reiterating that even in time, there will be a healed outcome. And once we know that and affirm that, then we can be patient. We can be assured that everything will work its way out, and then we can rest in that patience. So we're assured that even in time and space, all things will eventually heal or be interpreted correctly. And it is that faith in that assurance that I believe really gives the advanced teachers of God the patience they need and they have for any healing challenge which is up in front of them to heal. Okay, patience is, something, a virtue, an ideal, a thought form that really dates back to antiquity. It's always been valued very highly. I found a wonderful illustration that I'm going to share with you, and it's an engraving, and it was engraved in 1540. I want to look at this, and it's about patience. Hold on, I gotta find it. There it is. Uh, and it is. I believe that's the Latin word for patience, patientia, probably. But there you see the angel identifying with the virtue of patience, holding the lamb, and there's a little devil creature there taunting the angel. Got pretty much an androgynous angel. It could be a he or a her. So the angel, the Patientia, the patience angel, hovered over by little cherubs, isn't bothered by the devil that is there taunting them. And as you can see, the date is up above it, 1540. So beautiful engraving, really. That's just really a beautiful engraving. So the ideal of patience, been with us since antiquity, and still a virtue, still important, and mankind has actually always known of it. You know, another word for patience is the word forbearance. And I think forbearance uh, gives you another quality of the whole idea of patience. It actually means the ability to bear discomfort. That little nuance of meaning gets a little lost to us in the modern age. Sometimes we think patience just means being still and quiet, but it really does mean being still and quiet in the midst of something that is uncomfortable. We have to bear the discomfort peacefully, and that's the idea of forbearance. So just remember when you're thinking of patience, that remember that it also relates to forbearance. And actually, the word patience and patient come from the same root. So a patient is someone who has manifested some problem, some sickness, some illness. They have to bear it. It's the same root. So in the word patience is that idea of a discomfort, an illness, a problem of some kind, and we have to bear that. So I was thinking about patience this week. I mean, personally, because of many things. One, uh, I have a condo. We have a condo. The Miracle Center has a condo. I have a condo that I inherited from one of our ministers, Reverend Alicia, who passed away a number of years ago. The condo was not in great repair, so there was a long period of time where we had to fix the condo up. And then there was a legal problem with the transferring of the condo that took almost a year for us to solve. So we couldn't get the condo on the market quickly because there were all these problems, but we eventually got the condo remodeled. We eventually got the legal problem solved. And in May of 2025, so like 15 plus months ago, we put the condo up for sale. But it's involved, it's sold through this below market rate bureaucracy from the city of San Francisco. It's not a straightforward sale. It's very complicated. You have to jump through all the city hoops. It's not just on the open market. They have to approve the sale. It's kind of like you own it, but you don't really own it. You own it in the sense that you have to pay all the taxes on it, but you don't really own it because you can't live in it and you can't sell it. So it's kind of an odd thing, but I've had to have a lot of patience about the sale of this condo. And on Friday, we got our first little offer. We got our first offer. Now it's still in negotiation. I don't want to jump the gun here and say that we've sold the condo because we haven't actually. We're negotiating. But at least it was an offer. It was something. So all the 15 months of patience and bearing the discomfort of continual mortgage and homeowners association fees draining the assets, looks like some energy is moving, and that was really, really great. Another thing I've had to have patience about is, okay, we moved into a new center, a new 4-room office suite in February, and the goal was to have a true hybrid in-person Zoom Sunday gathering. I mean, we'll be like this, except there'll also be people there in person, and we're going to endeavor to make the in-person experience and the Zoom experience as equal, with the people in person able to see the people who are connected via Zoom, and the Zoom people being able to see the people who are there in person. Well, this is a real technology challenge. It entails us buying all kinds of equipment and hiring a technician, and it's just taken a whole lot longer than I had hoped. I thought after we moved there within a couple of months, this would all be established. Well, here it is August, hasn't been established yet, but I am making progress. And this week I did buy a whole bunch of equipment. big, large screen monitors and small screen monitors, and I've got a list of the other equipment that I need to buy, lighting and microphones and cameras and blackout curtains and, all the things we need to actually create a little television studio there in the new CMC office suite. And I'm excited about it. But it hasn't happened yet, and still making progress. It's uncomfortable. I have to bear the discomfort of it taking a long time and costing a lot of money, but I'm doing it. I mean, it's an indication to me that I am way more patient than I thought I was. Um, 5, 6 years ago, during the midst of the COVID crisis, I was one of those unvaccinated people who was not allowed to go into restaurants in San Francisco and all kinds of other things that were restricted because I didn't have the proper papers. Um, and it's been patience. I've needed patience to deal with all that. But last week, those that Senate hearing with Dr. Fauci and the shift in consciousness that has happened in the world, where people realize that maybe the unvaccinated, they had a point. Maybe people don't agree with it, but I feel an energy shift, and that took 5, 6 years of being patient to really feel like there has been an energy shift around all of that, and I'm really grateful for that. That there's energy shifting now, and people are realizing that those people who chose not to get vaccinated, maybe not to wear masks, and all of that. Maybe weren't the conspiracy theorists that everybody labeled them as. So again, I waited that out. That took 6 years, but I guess the healing of it is as right as is the time, and it seems to be happening now. So that's great, and I'm happy about that. So I'm going to count myself as one of the advanced teachers of God. But the question is not whether you count me as one. It's like, do you count yourself as one of the advanced teachers of God? Are you among the advanced teachers of God, ministers of God? Course in Miracles tells us in workbook lesson 154 that we should be able to say this declaration: I am among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means by which to recognize that I am free. We should all be able to declare that we are among the ministers of God. And maybe just another way of saying that is, I'm among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means by which to recognize that I can be patient. I can be patient. Can you be patient? Okay, so that teaching that I've been quoting a lot, like I said, is from the teacher's manual. There's also great teachings about patience in the text. There's actually one paragraph in, I believe it's chapter 5. Yeah, chapter 5 of the text where the word patience is used 8 times. And it starts with it asking, maybe Jesus asking us a rhetorical question about patience. So Jesus says, or the Course says, your patience with each other is your patience with yourselves. Is not a child of God worth patience? So there's the rhetorical question. Is a child of God worth patience? Well, I say we answer those rhetorical questions. Yes, yes, a child of God is worth patience. All the children of God are worth patience, and we are children of God, and we're worth patience, and we're worth the patience that we can have for ourselves. Think about how patient the Holy Spirit is with us. In this next passage, the Holy Spirit is actually personified in a way and equated with a personification of the virtue of truth. And in this passage, I'm sure a lot of you will know it. It says that even though the Holy Spirit is patient, the Holy Spirit sometimes sighs at our delays. But again, they're calling the Holy Spirit truth here. It says, truth merely wants to give you happiness, for such is its purpose. Perhaps it sighs a little when you throw away its gifts, yet it knows with perfect certainty that what God wills for you must be received. So again, it's that same teaching. We have that certainty about the final result. But in the meantime, there might be some discomfort and some disappointment. And it tells us maybe if it's all right for the Holy Spirit or truth to sigh, it's probably okay for us to sigh too. It's okay for us to be a little disappointed, but not let that disappointment guide your thoughts and your behaviors, to hold on to the realization and the assuredness that in time all things will be solved and all things will be healed. I waited 15 months for the condo to sell. Okay, maybe it's selling. I waited 6 years for there to be some kind of shift in the whole idea about the mitigation of the COVID pandemic and the problems that it caused for some people who didn't go along with the narrative the way it was being proposed by Dr. Fauci and others. Well, but that's happening. Took a while. Um, and it's true for everything. All those things that we have that we feel that we're trying to heal but haven't healed yet, rest in the sureness that they will be healed in time, and the time will be as right as is the answer. Okay, in that paragraph in chapter 5 that had the 8 references to patience, there is one reference that is actually quoted a lot. I thought I'd mention it. You probably know it, or many of you probably know it. It says, what you need to learn now is that only infinite patience can produce immediate effects. So Jesus, in A Course in Miracles here, is calling us to have infinite patience. So I'm just going to end with a contemplation here about infinite patience. Infinity is a nod to our own infinite eternal selves. It's vast. It fills the universe. It's not bounded. It's not bordered. We need to have a vast, fill the universe, not bounded or bordered patience with all of our healing challenges. And if we can expand our experience of patience to the infinite, to the vast, to it filling the universe, to it not being bounded and not being bordered, we will increase our miracle healing power and expand it exponentially. Okay, that's my talk for today. Thank you very much.
Woke up my eyes to see. Woke up my head to beat. Woke up my heart to be free. Woke up our world, you and me. I've opened up my heart, I'm at the start. I save the world, I save the world.